Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Hospitality Reputation Marketing Podcast. Get great reviews. I have a fantastic guest with us today. Jeff Kulek is the general manager of the London Hotel in West Hollywood. I am so impressed because not only does this hotel get great reviews from its guests, but I have never heard anyone having such great reviews as well from every, former employee that seems that has ever worked for you. And so many people in the hospitality industry look up to Jeff as an example of what a great general manager could be. So I thank you so much for joining us, Jeff. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Adele, and thank you for those very kind words. It's very nice of you.
It's a pleasure. You know what? I wanted to ask you, since people tell me that you have such a wonderful leadership style and you create such a wonderful culture at your property. The biggest issue that a lot of hotel general managers are having today is about how to hire great labor. And actually, just to get any kind of labor in the hotels these days is challenging. And I know a lot of people just say, well, it's all about the economic situation. It's about COVID and it's about unemployment and all of these things. But as Christine Trippi said to me quite recently, you can't focus on what you can't control. You have to focus and what you can control. To be focusing on what you can't control is to be a victim, as opposed to really taking charge of the situation. So I wonder, as an experienced veteran in the industry and a successful general manager, what are you doing to help get the right
Sure.
talent?
Well, first of all, it starts with our existing employment base. We have a lot of very talented and passionate people that we get to work with every day. And we created an incentive program for them to provide referrals. And like attracts like, and people that are quality and passionate about living and about being hospitable are likely to have friends and family that are very much like that. So as an example, my lead host just recommended two very talented hosts for us to hire during the summer months as an example of that. And she'll be have an incentive for referring two people to us. Another way is encouraging your leadership team while they're out and about in their daily lives to listen and look for those people that are out there in the industry, not just our industry, but other service industries that have transferable talents, people that smile, that you can feel their presence when they're with you, that you know that you have their undivided attention and they're being so thoughtful and so professional and pleasant with you, whether you're dining, whether you're in the supermarket, wherever you might be. And it's amazing where you can find talent. I actually found somebody, believe it or not, very early morning one Saturday at a Target store. And you would think, why would a luxury hotel hire somebody from a Target store? It's really not about a place where someone has worked. It's more about who they are as a person, their attitude, their sense of welcoming, their their zest for living. And you can train anybody to do any type of job. Job training is very easy to provide, but what you can't teach people is how to smile, how to make someone feel welcomed. And you can find those people almost every day if you really open your eyes and pay attention to that. That's another example of recruiting amongst the many other ways we go about finding talented people.
In the hospitality industry, very often some people think of their employees just as a pair of hands. But if you're really cultivating your people and really guiding them, this may be an entry level position. This may be your first foot in the door, but I'm not going to leave you there. I'm going to show you how to get ahead, how to prosper, how to be successful, and how to watch that person climb in the hospitality industry. In the hotel company that I used to work for at the Library Hotel Collection, which had the highest guest satisfaction of any luxury hotel brand in the world, according to Review Pro. Uh, our general managers started at the front desk, started as a bellman, started as housekeeping. If you treat people like they have a lot of potential and a lot of intelligence, and you treat them as your future general managers, then that's very motivating, not just money, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you are really focused on developing your talent. Can you
Oh,
tell?
absolutely. And, as an example of that, when I started here, there was a breakfast supervisor that shined more brightly than any other manager in the front of house and food and beverage. Today, he's our food and beverage director. So
That's
he
so great.
he worked his way up the ladder. He worked very hard. It wasn't given to him, but through his attitude, his spirit, his determination, his pride, his commitment to guest service and team member service, he worked his way into that role. And I have many, many examples of that. If you look almost any department at this hotel, someone has been promoted in that department to a higher level, based on their interest and desire, first of all, but also based on their skill set. And there's actually somebody right now that's working as a catering administrative assistant for us that we're looking at as a catering manager because of how professional, how welcoming, how excellent this person is with our customer base and how hard this person works. So the spirit of the person really leads them on their journey to accomplish whatever goals they set out for themselves. And by there we all benefit from that.
It takes a little something from the management, whether it's the general manager or that department leader, in order to actually cultivate that passion and that
Mhm.
inspiration, that drive to succeed, that helps keep that alive inside someone, right? They don't necessarily walk through the door thinking, hey, I can be a future general manager or a future department head. It takes us to spot that in them, do you think?
Definitely. But also, I think as leaders, we have to recognize, like what you said earlier, these are just not a pair of hands. This is a whole person with a life and a heartbeat and a family. And this is somebody that we should care about and get to know. I get here at 6 o'clock in the morning because I want to see my overnight crew before I start my day. And I don't leave until I see my night crew. I want to look at someone in the eyes and I want to know that they're doing well. I want to ask them how their family is and how things are going for them. I treat them with kindness and with mutual respect because of what they bring to the table. It doesn't matter what your position is. We're people in a service industry being of service to everybody, and that includes our team. And a lot of times people will come forward and talk to you freely, and they'll tell you about problems in the operation or concerns they have about a challenge they may be facing or an opportunity to provide a better service product to guests. And then it also fuels those fans that help people rise above their current position and say, I want to be in hospitality. I like this. I like how I feel when I'm servicing people. So treating people with respect and looking them in the eyes and showing them, I'm Jeff. I'm not Mr. Kulek. I'm not the title of my job. I am a person too. And you're a person. And we're gonna respect each other and we're gonna get to know each other along the path.
That is such a beautiful thing to say. But you have a pretty big hotel. So that, I mean, I give you a lot of respect for the fact that you go out of your way to connect with people, human to human, and let them know how appreciated their service is. I think that makes a huge difference in them
Yes.
saying, I want to recommend for my friends and family to be here because I feel taken care of. If the staff feels cared for, appreciated, and respected, then the guests are going to
Yes.
feel that.
Because the
It's
team member truly feels a part of something. I'm not just someone doing a job. I'm a part of this team that makes this hotel run successfully and provides amazing service to guests. And I know that my GM wants me to go out of my way to provide amazing service to you. So the team is empowered to do that. They've heard it directly from me. And we work at this together on a daily basis. And that's why you talked about the fact that the hotel is so successful. This is an amazing structure of a hotel. It's an all suite product, but the building can't talk. It communicate with guests. It can offer luxury and it can offer amazing products and services, but the experience that you have in being taken care of while you're staying here and getting to know the team during your stay makes it extra special.
That's fantastic. I want to get back to something that you said earlier about the team actually sharing with you things that they observe, as if, because it's true, not just as if they were owning the hotel, as though they were your assistant general manager, chiming in saying, I know we all as a team want to make things better. So here's something that I observed.
Mm.
And, you know, how do you get people to do that? Are you inviting them to share that with you? And if you're sharing are you sharing a mission with them or a goal with them? Is there something that they're working towards as a team?
Well, sure. Our company does have mission, vision, and values, which we have shared with everybody. And pre-COVID, we did have roundtable meetings where we met with a member of every team in the hotel, and we had 3 of those a month. And there was a variety of different team member celebrations we would do as well. But to be honest with you, I think the best way to get people to come forward is by providing a comfortable environment where they feel confident and comfortable to pop their head in your office and say, "Hi, Jeff, do you have a minute?" Because I've walked around the hotel all day long talking to everybody. And not only that, I will not walk by somebody without saying hello. I don't care if I walk by the front desk 10 times, that person that I'm going to say hello to them 10 times in one way or another. Hi, how you doing? Are you still having a good day? Or whatever it might be. But I'm engaging with them on a regular basis, and they know that I'm genuine, that I have integrity in my word. If someone brings a problem to me, I handle it immediately, so they know that I mean business. And they know that we promote from within and we care about them. So there's a lot of different ways, just by being a kind, genuine person, that you can develop that type of relationship where people want to talk to you.
It's absolutely music to my ears. I know so many times I've worked in hotels where someone will pass by me in the hall, even as the vice president of sales, marketing, and revenue for the company, and they won't look up or smile at me or say hello or even do one of these.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's something that I will then work on, either directly. Usually, I will just say it to the manager, because if they're not doing it for me, if they're not sparkling some sunshine on me, they're
Hmm.
not sparkling sunshine likely on the guests either.
Right.
And what you were saying about, you know, looking them in the eye and connecting with them, it's so important when you pass by. The team needs to know that when they pass by somebody, that moment where they look them in the eye, give them a little smile and say, how's everything going? Do you have everything you need? Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. It opens up an opportunity for that person to say if something isn't going right,
Right.
or or even if everything is going right and they say, they just thank you or good morning, and leave it at that. They will leave the hotel feeling everybody in that hotel cares so much. Every housekeeper I pass has a smile
Hmm.
and a little bit of a ray of sunshine for me. And
Right.
I think that that's something that you are definitely seem to be encouraging in your team. I know you've had some team members left, and you get to watch their wings totally soar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the last 2 assistant general managers that I've worked with me here are both general managers now. So the level of pride I feel about that is through the roof. But just to see somebody advance and grow and develop and learn, it's a very emotional thing. You really talk about work family, and I know what that feels like. I don't have any children of my own, but at work I have 200 children. In a way, because we're responsible for them while they're here. We're responsible for how they're trained, how they're cared for. what type of food we serve them, how we recognize and reward them. So, and how we mentor and develop people is very important. There's a whole team of people here that want to grow and want to advance and want to have a career that's beyond their current position. And I like that opportunity to help someone find their legs underneath them and help them accomplish that. Even if they have to leave the London, in order for that to happen, I don't want to hold anybody back.
You know what? You give me goosebumps a little bit because, like, as much of a joy as it is to see 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor and Google and everywhere else, there is really nothing more rewarding than when somebody tells you that you helped them shape their
Mm,
professional success
yeah,
and help them give their family or themselves a better life and a better future. It's a beautiful thing.
yeah. Well, the last two assistant GMs that I mentioned, we both cried as they were saying goodbye. We both did, and it was like I was seeing a fledgling leave the nest, and they were the little birdie that was flying the coop. But even to promote somebody from within and have them get emotional about that, and for that food and beverage supervisor I mentioned, that's now the food and beverage director. I've seen him go from being single to married to having 2 children to him and his wife being able to afford to buy a house. It's a beautiful thing to see someone's life blossom. And I think that's what hospitality really is about, even for your guests, to see someone's time with us bring about a greater sense of happiness because they were here. I had a guest actually that texted me, because I do give out my cell number. A guest that hadn't traveled since the start of COVID. His first stay was back here at the London, and he texted me like at 10 o'clock at night. He woke me up, and the text just said, I'm euphoric because I'm back at the London."
That's
And I sat up and texted him back, and I said, "Well, that's wonderful, and welcome back." And it's such a joy to provide, when you truly have that service mindset, I want to be of service to you. um, it's joyful when someone receives the gift of service.
I love it. People minimize that that feeling of joy. When I talk about, it's such a much more joyful experience to manage a hotel where you're appreciating your staff, where they feel creatively expressed, they feel empowered, they
Hmm.
feel that you're teaching them. Some hotel managers just say, do this, and they don't say why.
Hmm.
They just say, that's our policy. The team members are never really learning. Why did we change our policy from this to this? Why are we doing things differently? They don't know. Well, we had a guest complaint, and then we thought about it and realized that that didn't make any sense. So we changed it. And but the reason we're leaving it like this is we want to protect the hotel, but we also want to make the guest happy. So this is the solution that we found. And if you observe anything like that, you should speak up. If we have a policy that doesn't make any sense and it's giving you a problem, this is something that you need to speak up with because we'll evaluate that. That is how you create future leaders. How are you going to ever promote anybody if you're not telling them the why
Right,
behind the way you do things?
right.
You're not
That's how they
sharing.
learn.
That is how they learn. And, so one thing that I always talk about is creating a culture of caring, collaboration, and continuous improvement. And I talk about people listening to the review, looking for the root cause of the problem, and then really thinking about how to fix that problem, not just handle the problem for the guest in front of them, but actually fix it so that it doesn't come up again, so that you're not repeating the same tragedies over and over. And I think it's heartbreaking for a front desk person, for example, to have to deal with problems all day long, thinking that the management knows that there's an issue, but that's the way it is because that's our policy. I read it right here. So, and I can't do anything about it. So I have to defend the hotel. as opposed to let me find a way to be a hospitality hero and protect the hotel, but still take care of the other
Mhm.
guests. And so I really appreciated your saying that you empower the teams. What would you say to general managers who say, I don't have time for this. I am so busy. I'm
Hmm.
working 80 hours a day. I mean, I feel like it's easier and more joyful
You
and more
know,
to do
if
it.
you adopt the philosophy, it's not like doing extra work. It's just who you become as a leader. And while you're doing that 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, or whatever it is you're working, you are still engaging with your team. You are still mentoring them. You are still helping them make decisions. You're the leader, so people are naturally bringing problems, questions, concerns to you. So your opportunity might be when they walk into the door to say there's a guest that wants to speak to you at the front desk because X, Y, and Z. And you could still take that time and say, gosh, Eric, you know what? I've noticed that you've changed your hairstyle and you look so much more professional, and I really like, it could be some little compliment, or like, I like your new glasses that you bought. Okay, tell me about the guest. It's just taking a moment and being real, or saying, whatever it is that you need to say to acknowledge them. And it becomes just a part of your everyday behavior. It's an adopted behavior that you decide, I'm going to engage everybody. I'm going to acknowledge everybody. Like you mentioned earlier, where that person didn't acknowledge you when you were doing a site. If someone doesn't acknowledge me while I'm conducting a site, I stop and acknowledge them. I'll say, "Oh, hi Bertha, how are you today?" Or whoever it might be during the site. It doesn't matter to me because they're people and I care about them and I want them to know that they matter. So, and then, yes, let's go out and talk with this guest and find out what might be wrong. And then I'll show you what I do to fix the problem. Learn from my example. Here's your opportunity to learn something. I'll teach you how to fix this so the next time you can just handle it. So, you kind of become a teacher. And yes, we all get incredibly busy, and there's days where you don't have enough time in the day to accomplish all of your goals. But if you can really engage your team and be the very best person that you can be on a daily basis, then you can put your head on your pillow at night and go to sleep knowing that you've accomplished your goal for that day.
That's beautiful. And for the financial people who say, well, I'm only interested in the bottom line and we don't have time for this, how do you feel the way you're managing the hotel with that wonderful culture and
Well,
that kind of on the job
those
training?
financial people have to go through the interview process as well. So I find those people that have that right attitude. And yes, they are financially minded and they should be. But at the same time, they're people too. They want acknowledgement. They want to know that the general manager has 5 minutes to come sit down and say, Mark, how's it going? I know you just bought a new house. How's it? Was your move successful? Did you get that landscaping done that you wanted done at your home, or whatever
Yes,
whatever it might be. And I don't do it just because I'm wasting time. I do it out of genuine curiosity, but also to show that I really care and that I really do want to know, how was your experience moving into that new home? Are you happy? So yes, and then yes, you have to show that you can produce the right bottom line while it doesn't change the bottom line to be nice. It doesn't change the bottom line to develop people. It
I
doesn't
think
change the bottom line to engage people.
I think it does very
Well,
positively.
it changes it because then they want to transfer the treatment to the guest and to make their stay better and to make them want to come back and create demand and all of that. Yes, I understand that side of it, but it doesn't cost you anything.
It
It doesn't
doesn't.
take any money out of the pocket of the hotel to be genuine to somebody.
It's true that a lot of people think that if it's an older hotel, I don't have the money to renovate it, I don't have the money, and so there's nothing that I can do. But actually, changing the process sometimes, that costs nothing. Changing the mindset costs nothing. Changing our communications about so that people are not surprised by things that they weren't expecting. All of those things are easy and free to do. And there's just nothing that brings people back and makes people want to rave about your hotel online better than kindness, sweetness, compassion,
Mm.
and people who really are on a mission to make guests
Yes,
happy.
yes,
Well,
definitely.
you know what? I wanted to talk to you also for a moment about TripAdvisor because I know that you're one of the first hotels that I've noticed actually take advantage of TripAdvisor's new TripAdvisor Plus plan. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are about it and what your experience has been like.
Well, I mean, we value TripAdvisor. We use that as a benchmark for our performance. We look at our rating, and of course, we want to be number one in our city, and we strive to be number one. Right now, we're number two. Um, but yes, it's a new opportunity to market to guests and try to bring new customers into your hotel by offering incentives. And we do have a food and beverage credit and reduced parking and things along that time. And of course, at this time during a COVID period where your occupancy is nowhere close to what a normal occupancy would be for your hotel, it's just another way of reaching out and trying to find new customers. So I don't think we've experienced a great influx from it at this point. And maybe it's just because of the time of COVID and the restrictions that are in place in Los Angeles. But it's still an offering that we're able to use through a credible venue that people do go to decide where they want to stay.
And it definitely makes your hotel stand out.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah, it definitely does. And you have a high ticket hotel, so you can afford to add some enhancements. And
Yes.
you're probably doing packages that are similar to that in other ways. So why not do it in a place where you're not paying commission?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I hope that that works out well for you. And the great thing is that you can always turn it off when you get busy, or if there's some reason that you don't want to have it on a particular weekend or at some
That's right.
point. You have
Yeah,
that.
it's a very easy system to work with for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to keeping in touch and hear how that's going. Hopefully, things will start changing
Yes.
and LA will really open up more. Do you have a sense of when? I mean, it's anybody's guess, but
Well, unfortunately, with how COVID is so rapidly becoming worse in Europe and in international markets, with the Olympics not being open to transient traffic, I think that our summer probably will be a strong summer because I think all the resorts are pretty exhausted at this point for people traveling. And I think California is a market as a whole where people love to go. The sun's definitely shining. We have a rooftop pool in Cabanas. We're in driving distance to a beach and wonderful shopping, of course, in Beverly Hills and great dining in West Hollywood. So I think this summer we're going to start seeing a more normalized occupancy. And as these restrictions get lifted, we've heard the governor is going to lift all restrictions as of June 15th, is what we're hearing. So by summertime, I think that it'll become much more normalized.
I wish you and all of your team fantastic luck. I can't wait to go to LA and try the wonderful London Hotel in
Thank
West
you.
Hollywood myself.
Yes.
It sounds terrific, and I
Well, now you
definitely
have a new friend here, so you know who to call.
you are so kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adele.
Do you want to share how anyone would reach out to you or anything that you want to
Sure,
say?
on our website, the London WeHo, weho.com, there's a place to reach out. My email address is jkulik at thelondonweho.com. So, or you can call the hotel directly. I'm here, on a regular basis. So feel free to reach out. We have great rates, great suites, great food, and a beautiful rooftop pool, as I mentioned. So
Mm. That sounds wonderful. Well,
thanks, Adele.
thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you everyone for watching the hospitality or listening to the Hospitality Reputation Marketing Podcast. Please subscribe and share, and especially share with any new GMs that might want to listen in from a wonderful veteran in the industry, how to get great reviews. Thank you so much.